What's up, everybody? It is your boy Baddog back with another New York Giants video. And as you can see, I have my Giants workout hat on. That's because New York State opened their gyms up today. And in a few hours, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do something that I missed for the last 5 months. And that is freaking clang some weights around, pump some damn iron and lift some weights, man. Now, I've done things to keep myself in shape, but there's no doubt I'm looking forward to that without a doubt. Bring some of that energy back, get some of that strength back and everything else that I love to do in there. I'm so looking forward to that. I'm like a kid on Christmas, no doubt about it. But speaking of weights, Daniel Jones coming out of Duke. A lot of people questioned his arm strength. He's got no arm. He's got a rag arm, this and that. Last year when he showed up at camp, everybody said his arm was a lot better than they expected. Everybody thought he had a really weak arm, but he didn't. He had a good arm. I wouldn't say he had a strong arm, but he had a good arm. It was much better than a lot of people anticipated. Well, this year, it's been no secret. Daniel Jones has done a massive workout regimen. He added 8 to 9 pounds of muscle. He's gotten a lot stronger. You could see, the pictures of him all jacked up and strong, which is great because it should help his control of the football as far as fumbling goes. Daniel Jones had a really nice rookie season. I don't want my camera so dark like that, sorry. Daniel Jones had a really nice rookie season. A lot of people, Giants fans, not so many Giants fans, but haters, people that don't like the Giants and media, they just want to focus on the negative of Daniel Jones. They don't want to look at the fact that this guy took over one of the worst situations in football. He had enormous shoes to fill. He's filling, replacing the greatest quarterback in the history of this franchise, which is 95 years old, a 2-time Super Bowl MVP, a future Hall of Famer, and Eli Manning. And he's done it with the utmost professionalism. He's handled it. From draft night when he got booed, myself included, we all know my draft reaction. I couldn't believe it, and I was really ticked off at the time. To right now, there's still some Giants fans that don't want to give Daniel Jones credit. They're saying he's not our future quarterback, and that's fine. But it is good to hear now that he's turning heads at training camp with his arm strength. And what's really good about Daniel Jones, and something that Giants fans really need to get on board with, the guys that doubt him, don't doubt the man's work ethic. Daniel Jones had his ups and downs his rookie season, but we definitely saw that he had flashes of brilliance. His ball control was a little shaky as far as that goes, or his ball security was shaky. He fumbled a lot of times. He threw some intercepted passes, no doubt about that. But again, he took over a really bad spot. He threw 24 touchdowns in 12 games, and we saw the brilliance that this kid had. He showed flashes of brilliance. I was at that Jets game. Our defense let it down, but he had a great game outside of Jamal Adams ripping the ball out of his hand. He's hard on himself when he makes a mistake. He wants to get better. He watches film. He works out hard. He does everything that you want a quarterback to do, especially as a young quarterback. He's becoming a leader. Maybe not vocally, but leading by example, a lot like Eli Manning did. Well, actually, Eli Manning was never a big workout guy. We all know that. But he led by example on the field. He was always the utmost professional athlete and everything else, and that's kind of what Daniel Jones is. But Daniel Jones turning heads with his arm strength in training camp is a really good thing to hear because, again, people underestimated his arm strength, and now that it's even stronger, this will certainly help him with those fade patterns down the sideline, putting that ball into where it needs to be, and tight, accurate window throws that he can get to the wide receiver because our wide receivers do not get the best separation. I could be wrong about this, but I think Daniel Jones led the league in tight window throws last year. So Daniel Jones' arm strength will certainly help when it comes to tight window throws. You want your receivers to get a little bit more separation, but if he does have to make that tight window throw, which most passes in the NFL have to be tight window throws. They have to be. Cornerbacks in this league are fast. There's very little separation between a lot of wide receivers. So your quarterback has to throw the receivers open. With a stronger arm, obviously Daniel Jones will be able to do that. And again, I'm excited for the prospects. I'm excited for the fact that Daniel Jones has worked very hard. I've gone on record. I've said that Daniel Jones will be a top 10 quarterback in the league this year and he'd make the Pro Bowl. Now, those are obviously very bold statements. I'm very high on Daniel Jones, and it's not just because, like I said, I saw the flashes of brilliance from the kid last year. Yeah, he had some bad games. The Patriots game, the Packers game, he didn't play well in those games. But, he's a rookie. And rookies are going to have their ups and downs, but I see what he can bring. And the fact that he's going into his second year and the fact that he's worked incredibly hard to get better this offseason and wants to get better, that is what speaks to me. You see a young guy, a young quarterback in there working as hard as anybody else, trying to get better, trying to be a leader. And that is exactly what you want to see from Daniel Jones. And the fact that this guy's turning heads with his arm strength is a really good sign for the New York Giants. We'll see how it translates onto the field. It's one thing we can talk about. Hey, he's throwing the ball really hard. He's got a ton of zip on the ball. Hey, look at this. Wow, he's turning heads. But we're practicing. You know, I mean, what does it mean in practice? It's good to see the arm strength, but even in a scrimmage, I mean, is it really that big of a deal? You know, I would like to see him in a preseason game against the team that's trying to get to him, that's trying to separate him from the ball, players that are trying to make their team and make an impression on their team. I'd like to see him go against that competition. We don't get that this year. What we do get is these reports in training camp that he's got a really strong arm and he's got a lot more zip on it and that his arm strength is really good. I'm still not going to say he's one of the strongest arm quarterbacks in the league, but the fact that it's gotten better from where it was last year speaks to a lot of the man's work ethic, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Daniel Jones does on the field this year as well as the New York Giants. We're about, 3 weeks away from football against the Steelers, and I believe it's September 14th. It's a Monday night. I'm not exactly sure of the date, but I can't wait, and I know a lot of you guys can't either. It'll be fun to see what Daniel Jones and the New York Giants do this year. Hopefully they're better. There's been a lot of talk about it. Everybody wants to knock the Giants, man, and I'll tell you this, as long as the Giants are losing, as long as they're making mistakes, media is going to continue to do that. It's the New York media, man. It's what they do. It's the national media. They're going to hate on the New York team. The only way you can shut these people up is by performing on the field. I think Daniel Jones is going to perform on the field, and I think he's going to silence a lot of his critics this year. So that's all I got for this video, guys. As always, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you later tonight. It's the Bad Diggity Dizzle, and I am gone. Peace!